Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you to next Industry 5.0 keynote speeches will be very special because I will deliver it in Haiti, and I'm very proud to that. My name is Michael Rada. I'm human, and I'm the founder of Industry 5.0. Before we start, let me tell you why we are here today. It is not because Haiti is the biggest country. It is not because Haiti is the richest country, and not because it is an aggressive neighbor. It is not because the country recovered already from environmental and economical impacts. Not because promises for support has been delivered. We are here because the people in Haiti never gave up recovering the beauty of their own country. There is no coincidence, it's evolution. The country is struggled with environmental impacts for a long time. It is generally the history of disasters. And these disasters result in more evil. But then a man showed up and he decided that he would like to build up his country, to be nice and strong again. Exile Molière is his name, and he became the Industry 5.0 ambassador in 2023. It took 1 year before he was able to launch the first event on which Industry 5.0 keynote speech can be shared with everyone. And it's a great work. Very few people in the world know that in Haiti there is the eighth wonder of the world, the Citadel Henri. It was built in 1805, and it is the largest fortress in the Western Hemisphere. It is almost 10,000 square meters big. The walls are 40 meters high, and it's standing on the top of a hill. It was established to protect the freedom of the country and the people. But despite the fact that the Citadel Henri was repaired, the Haiti is not the World Heritage Site, but it is the living country. Haiti is loved by its citizens and must become free again. And I hope that Industry 5.0 principles will help on this journey. And what is Industry 5.0? It is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It restores the missing link between nature and human-made ecosystems. It's built on the principles of systematic waste prevention and prevent 5 types of waste: physical, social, urban, process, and wasting of time. These principles are being implemented since 2013, and officially Industry 5.0 was launched in 2015 with one and only aim: to build wasteless world for all, and violence and fears are waste and cannot serve for recovery of nations. Industry 5.0 will help to restore the unity and beauty of Haiti without wasting the time. Education is a very important part of the journey, and it must grow humans, not the system components. It must be available to all without prejudice. Creativity, curiosity, critical thinking are the right attributes. Unity and harmony must be created, breaking down the silos. It must connect, not divide, creating the important, not consuming. Fear and violence must be prevented. Teachers and students are one. So, which means a teacher must be a student, and a student must be a teacher. Every home must be a school, and every school must be the home. Who we have many titles. We are managers, presidents, chairmen, students. We are producers, teachers, fathers and mothers. We collect many titles during our lives, but we forget one. We are human beings, not like this man on County Art of Pills and Brewery. And if we know who we are, let's answer the second question. Where do we live? Because we live in beautiful cities like Roubaix, like Pilsen, and this is the building I'm speaking to you from, like Paris, Brussels. We are living in beautiful cities which we fill with trash. We work in factories which produce in one day more trash than a city in a month. We produce products which frequently, before using the end user or reaching the end user, become trash as well, and we store them in big metal houses filled with air, asking for more big metal houses to be built to store our trash inside. And after the end of our shift, we leave. Arriving home, we maybe realize that something what was called food before is called bio-waste today. And we look at the red sky above our heads, asking ourselves, where do we live? Let me answer this question to you and much more. I was born on December 24th, 1971. At the day our planet was called blue marble, but it took few decades and the blue was have disappeared. The planet was not blue anymore, looking from the orbit. But then in 2021 something very strange happened because the blue phase show up again. Not because we change intentionally our behavior, but because a COVID, a virus, locked us down. And what we do? We create on the orbit a landfill with 170 million pieces of space debris, space trash, doing so in few decades' time. And what we do to the planet? We dig inside because the only criteria of success is more. More money, more people, more houses, more wives, more husbands, more. Ask Fortune 500 members how they get to the ladder. Ask Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. The answer will be only one. I got more than the others do. We are living on a planet together with 8 billion people, not knowing that 200 years ago it was just 1 billion. 100 years later it was 1.5 billion, which means in the last 100 years, despite of 2 world wars, 2 world pandemics, and more than 650 local war conflicts, 5 times more people living on the planet. And in 2050, some predicts that should be 11 billion people living here. And just now, please remember the last image I showed you. We are living here in 206 countries, according to UN 193. We speak 7,000 languages. We ride 1 billion cars, and we let 9 million people die hungry, despite the fact that more than 23 million metric tons are being wasted every single day in crop and food. 850,000 people die thirsty every year, despite the fact that only California crude oil industry consume more than 347 million liters of drinking water every single day. We plant our food to throw it away because the leaves are not green enough for the buyer in a chain store. We put our overproduction on a landfills and in the rivers not to spoil the market price. We carry our water in firefighting tanks not knowing that the same amount of water is needed to produce just 1 and simple hamburger, and we do it on a planet where one sip of water can save not one, but two lives. We store our packaging in parking lots of employees, waiting till it becomes waste. We work in factories which has walls lined with environmental certificates, and behind the walls, landfill is created. We waste products which are not perfect for one but can serve hundreds and thousands of others. Doing so under the supervision of the World Bank, which says that till 2050 the waste volumes will be growing, and in the same report it stated that almost everything can be reused or repurposed, but in fact only 13.5% is being reused or repurposed. This is what makes the waste industry the third most profitable industry in the world. We have built our future on the top of a pyramid, not realizing that the pyramid has not been built for the living ones to live inside, but to store corpses inside. When I realized that, I decided we need another groundstone, and instead of 3R, I created 6R, which will be stable no matter how strong the earth will shake. How does it work? Firstly, you have to recognize that something must not become waste, and trust me, that's not an easy task if you waste the item before. But if you do, even harder task is in front of you, because you have to reconsider what to do with this item. And then you will fail for the first, second, third time, but then when you succeed, you start to change the world with your hands. It is important to wake up and do the process which can be done, utilizing the on-the-ground mines. In Haiti, there is a lot of electric towers, but they carry only the wires. You maybe don't know that there exists a horizontal wind turbines, and they have become standard already. So why not to combine them together? Why not to use the existing structures to put there additionally power generation devices which can supply locally with electricity? There are many technologies available. We call them on-the-ground mines. It can be the temporary housing projects which are globally. It can be the flameless biochar production which originated in Australia by Robert Tonks. It can be the ISB battery storage system. This is a heat storage system unique in the world. There are many water recovering projects, and solar power rope is the latest of the projects which will be introduced very soon. Plastic waste can be turned into construction material, and the roads and infrastructure can be improved by using the plastics as well. So it's time to do. And this is why it is important to understand that there is no waste. And this is why the waste prevention framework exists. Nothing that can be used or utilized again must become waste. Everything must be considered primary as a pre-waste existing resource and remain in the system. The secondary use or utilization is not limited to the primary function of a product or material, and can be executed by everyone respecting the rules and regulations and safety conditions. Collecting, sorting, baling, and trade are not being considered anymore secondary utilization, and if not utilized on a primary location, it must be offered to someone else before being wasted. And please understand, there is no waste if we do not waste. Not a single legislation in the world contains the definition how waste is created, so it must be part of the framework, because wasting is the process in which a product or material of any kind, form and volume become waste. Wasting is a system failure, and must be prevented first without any limitation or legal restrictions. Wasting is not a feature of a product or material, but a result of human behavior, and single use is one of the most common forms of wasting. Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It's a new mindset of people and businesses from wasteful to wasteless. It delivers results without the need of capital investment, and it's based on the principles of systematic waste prevention, utilizing the existing on-the-ground mines. It's based on transparency, profit sharing, and efficiency. And please understand one, Industry 5.0 is not a sales tool or a buzzword, but it is a new global ecosystem. Dear ladies and gentlemen, few years ago, our work was switched from physical to digital. The education of our children has to follow, and our leisure time was digitalized long time ago, so it looks like that the only thing which needs to be digitalized is human, but if we do so, our home and our world will look like this. And this is not a mistake, because data don't need any light. I realized that more than a decade ago, and I decided I do not want to live on the bottom of a black hole, and this is why I start to build another home. I call it wasteless. And don't worry, I'm not alone. My name is Michael Rada. I'm human. And together with me, there are 119 Industry 5.0 ambassadors, helping to spread the knowledge in 118 countries and on a global maritime ecosystem. I would like to ask you to remember that people like me, like Excel, we are here to build wasteless world for all. Let me thank you. Let me thank you for your time. Let me wish you have a nice time free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, and be human.